Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story from Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's season 11, episode 3. I've got it right second time, I had to cut the first one out. And today we're back for a big game against Palace, as we're remarkably still in that early playoff hunt again. So 15 games gone, we have unfortunately now lost our unbeaten record, so every team in the championship's been beaten. But we're joint least, only 2 defeats in 15 games, and we're up there in the playoff shout. Considering we've had more injuries than usual this season, albeit most of them now back today, and we've got a couple of key players woefully out of form, we're doing really well. Palace littered with quality players. I wonder if they're still there, having finished mid-table last season. I just want to see if any of them got sold on, and then we'll carry on our introduction in a minute. So Reece Nelson went to Wolves, Mason Greenwood went to Southampton. That's a combined 65 million quid. Oliver Skipp 20 million to Southampton again. Gamadi's 13.75 to Aberdeen. How are they paying that much? That Europa League 2 must be paying a lot of money. Charlie Farrell to Swansea 6.25. So a lot of money has gone out the club. But my word, a mid-table championship club, and they've managed to spend 100 million, which shows you exactly what we're competing with. So I think, to be fair, we're starting to see the challenges we've got here and why it's so hard to stay in contention all season. Last year we fell away after a blistering start, and it looks like it's just starting to happen this season too. But either way, this is about consolidation. We're making our moves off the pitch. If we get that stadium, if we get those facility and youth recruitment improvements, we can be a force in the future. So let's just stick with it and see if we can surprise a few more people. We've got Albert Salades in charge. I'm pretty sure he was a Galactico. He was, 2000 to 05. He wasn't one of the stars, don't put me wrong, but he was definitely involved in the squad quite regularly. I remember that name when growing up. But today we've got Crystal Palace, we've skipped ahead to November, and we've also got some exciting news as well. You might be able to see it from the manager performance there. We'll reflect on all that in a minute though. Firstly though, if you are new to the series, please do subscribe for daily FM20 content. We've got this long-term story and our head coach one. Another chance for me to say thank you to everyone that popped along and checked out the stream yesterday. We had our transfer special from that other series too. Our director of football going to work. And I'm recording this on Monday, so I have no idea how it will have gone yet. But you can catch up in the eye above. There is a stream replay available there. So fingers crossed all went well, and that'll be available to view. Hopefully, it was a successful one as well. And also a very quick thank you again to everyone who's following my 2 new series on Sundays. I've had some really positive feedback on both the Stadium Review series and the FM20 Network career, and my regular co-hosts in those doing me a massive favour, so thank you to them for popping on the channel regularly too. But today it's all about Dorking Wanderers, and you can see we've got some surprise performers early on. I mean, Mitchell Baker's got one weakness, and that's getting yellow cards. We did have a red to Grant Parsons, but it got rescinded, so it's a little bit harsh that it's still there, to be honest. And those of you that do play FM regularly will know how rare a rescinded red card is. So we'll make the most of that while we got it, although it did nearly cost us a massive moment. But otherwise, Fraser Cotleo banging in goals, a backup striker who's had to play nearly every game due to Brendan Lindsay's injuries. Even since he's been back, his form's been poor, so Cotleo's very much been a saviour. And we're making money again, so everything's looking good. We've sold on a transfer clause for Mason Saxon. That's brought in another 400 or 500 grand for the club. In fact, I don't think it was quite that much. Just under 400 if I remember rightly. But let's go and have a look at the schedule and see how we've been getting on. So since you were last with me, for what was obviously a brilliant performance against Leeds, we've had a mixed spell, and by mixed I mean generally very good. So obviously October was great, but let's go through the rest of September first. After the international break, we drew 2-2 away at Swansea. We thought we'd come back and nicked it in the 89th minute via Porteous, but then in the 94th we were unfortunately pegged back again. We won 3-2 at home to QPR, Cotleo with a brace and Porteous with a goal in the second half after we were 2-0 down at half time. Unbelievable comeback that was. Then a 1-0 win against Premier League Wolves in the Carabao Cup. They were playing a backup team, as were we, and Ollie Drury made good of his loan deal. We talked in the last episode and he came good in that one. However, it was followed up by a 2-1 defeat to Watford, the one team I didn't really want to lose to as a Luton fan. But as you can see, they are top of the league and they're the one side that look absolutely brilliant this year. So there's no real shame in our little Dorking side for losing that one. But into October, things started to go brilliantly. A 2-1 win at Forest, again coming from behind to get the result. Zach Council starting a brilliant run that month, which eventually led him to get Player of the Month in the Championship. We then won 2-0 at home to West Brom, toured off with a penalty and Cotleo again with a second, before a 1-0 win at Blackburn. That man Zach Council with the goal. And then at home to Brentford, He went one better and got a brace, and it was good job he did because it nicked us a point. So again, a good result against a team competing near the top. Before a 2-2 draw, the same result at Hull, the side that narrowly beat us on the last day of last season. So progress again, Fraser Cotleo with yet another goal, and Aaron White looking very good on the left wing yet again too. And then a 4-3 win in the Carabao Cup at Leeds. And this game was bizarre. We were 2-0 down and really struggling early on. We just nicked one on a break before half-time. We laid into the lads, we went more attacking, and we turned it round. 3-2 up with 10 to go, all looking good. But then, Grant Parsons sent off for a brilliant tackle. Timed it brilliantly, wasn't even dirty, got sent off, straight red. It was immediately rescinded after the match, but it almost cost us the tie. Thankfully though, Adrian Bentley popped up with a header. That put us 4-2 up with 2 minutes to go. So when Anthony Farley got a late goal for Leeds, it wasn't quite as important as it otherwise might have been. However, that did show against Doncaster at the start of this month, a 1-0 defeat away from home against the mid-table side, and it was just a bad day at the office. Council was awful, Burns struggled, but we did have a couple back from injury, and I'm hoping as we move through this month, that will start to show in our performances. You can see the one thing that has happened the last 4 games, we've started leaking goals. That's because we've been without Baker at times, we've been without Lewis James the right back long term, and to be honest, Petrucci was out too, so we ended up with a left back at right back. All the sort of things you don't want to happen. But we're going to go and head into this Palace game. If you're looking forward to it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate your ongoing support. And let's see if we can get a good result against Palace. Hopefully, be the first of many this month. As you can see, the dressing room atmosphere, managerial support's all very excellent. None of our facilities things have been changed, so in about 2 weeks we should have improved youth facilities again. Still can't improve the training ones though, and I'm not quite sure why. However, we can improve the youth recruitment again. So I know it wasn't a planned part of this episode, but we might as well make the most of the opportunity. They accept the youth recruitment and they accept the junior coaching. We are starting to fly through these now. We're making up for lost time, we're looking after the finances, and we're finally getting our rewards. So let's go and have a look and see what they stand as now. I'm not sure if they've updated just yet, but if we go to the facilities, they have. We've got adequate academy coaching and average youth recruitment. So these youth intakes might start to shine through soon. I'm not sure if it will be too soon for this year's one, but it gives us a better chance at getting a gem. The youth facilities will be upgraded from basic to what will either be poor or below average, depending on how much they go up. And then below average training facilities, probably slightly better than the rest, so we're not too worried about them for now. But if we can get that youth level up, get the players playing good football, then hopefully long term we'll have something we can build on. But we're still at Crawley Stadium at the moment, as the other one's in planning permission stage, and in 2 years' time we should have a new stadium being built that might be ready for the last few years of this career. But into this Crystal Palace game, a really tough one on paper, a side that have spent £100 million in the Championship. I mean, we can't compete. We're celebrating a 10 million record sale as if it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. It's buying us a stadium and facilities, and they're talking about dealing in 20s and 30s for everyone. So if we have a look at the squad for today, I can show you what I mean about the injuries. We've got Lewis James just coming back from a long-term knock. He'll be back soon. We're going to give him some game time in the international break, playing for the 23s and 18s, and hopefully he'll respond well to that. The same for Peter McLaughlin, who does make the bench today, and Mitchell Baker's back in, having had a week's rest. Petrucci's fit, so we have got a known right back playing, and he is starting to improve in training, so I'm hoping as we go along that'll work out. But otherwise, the ones that have stepped in have done okay. George Burns in the attacking midfield role. You can see they're downgrades, but they're doing all right. Luke Thomas again struggling. Someone that we could probably sell on in January. But the interest in him's dried up because he's not had the best season so far. But Shane Thompson catching him very quickly and may well overtake him next season. Don't forget we've got Lynch out on loan as well. I haven't actually looked to see how he's getting on this season. So let's just see what he's doing. Lynch is at Preston, 18 games. He's got a good rating and he's improving. So next season, Luke Thomas will likely be replaced by him. We've got a couple of others doing all right. Though Cole Carroll's had a big injury. It's all going wrong in that sense. But in terms of our lineup for today, Estroppa in goal, continuing to have a solid season. Petrucci at right back with Thomas over on the left. Walker and Baker combining at centre half. We've got Porteous and Tordoff in the middle. Both had decent seasons, though slightly inconsistent. Council on the right, White on the left. Both of those absolutely flying. And then George Burns in behind Cotleo up front. We didn't expect to say that when we started the season. Both of them doing alright so far though, although their first choices are now back to fitness on the bench. Let's go and get into this Crystal Palace game and see if we can get another positive result. 4-4-1-1 for Crystal Palace, and again I've just had a glimpse of that empty stand. I think we're going to have to mention it every episode now. It seems I'm showing you more home games, but they're the ones that we're doing well in at the moment. Obafemi's up front for Palace. There's the empty stand. Good and honourable mention for it. They've got Christian Walton in goal, who we had on loan at Luton in real life a few years back. Really good young goalkeeper. And Obafemi up front we obviously had in the other save when we were managing Ireland, the international team. But lots of regens, lots of good young players. And they must be their replacements for those old wonder kids. The likes of Reece Nelson, the likes of Mason Greenwood. How they finished 14th for them last year, I just don't know. But into the first half we go against Palace, and immediately the visitors are on the front foot. It's purple in midfield. That is not a typo. It is Purple is his name. Back to Goitia in the middle. A few of the good exotic names, which I can't really pronounce. Lattimore switches it to Lodi. Into the box. There's pressure on him, but he beats it. Goes alone. Good save. Petrucci hacks away second time. And Council flicks on rather than away. But that's a promising start for Crystal Palace. Though at the other end, we've got a free kick immediately. Aaron White into the back post. Walker heads. Oh, what a save. Walton tips it onto the post by the looks of things. Incredible delivery again by Thomas. But what a wonderful save by Palace's number one, living up to the praise I gave him pre-match. He's got an under-21 international cap. He's a very good experienced keeper now in game. But we're coming forward again. Porteous with Council getting it up to Cotleo. A bit wider than he would have liked, though is there support with him. Zach Council's up immediately. To the byline, really performing like the wonder kid now. Back to Tordoff. Out again, but the pass is blocked. And it's a long ball forward, which Baker deals with. The second wonder kid in the team, he's defending well. And despite the yellow cards, he's been a revelation this year. He gets it forward to Petrucci in the middle and now Tordoff. Out to the left to Luke Thomas. Really got to prove a point if he wants to stay here after this season. As Tordoff gets it into Burns. Lovely ball forward. Cotleo down. Porteous to Council. Oh, it's saved. But it was so perfect up until that point. It was a wonderful move. And we are now completely on top of Palace. But it remains 0-0. And that's the only stat that really matters. I've got to say as we come to half time, and let me know in the comments if you agree, it's the one thing I think is going to hinder us this year. Brendan Lindsay's been awful the odd times he has been fit, although he's never really been truly match fit. White's picked up a knock in this one. Cotleo, he's done really well, better than expected. 8 goals already in 11 starts. I'm gobsmacked, it's brilliant. But he has been inconsistent. So he's got a couple of games where he scored 2, and then he'll go 3 games where he's really poor. But I don't know if it's his fault or not having the creativity, because George Burns isn't the best. We've got backup fullbacks in at the right-hand side. Have had them on both at some stage. So I don't know that I can be too critical. But into the second half, again we're pleased with the conformance. Again we're being quite plucky where need be. But on this occasion we just haven't got the result. So White is absolutely knackered. Joe Thompson will come on for him in a minute. And to be honest, that's not a disaster. As you saw in the Carabao Cup, he's played really well when he's come on. So he's going to come on as a winger on attack, and we'll make the other 2 changes very shortly. But here we are on the right-hand side with a throw in an advanced position. Petrucci plays a 1-2 with Porteous. Into Thompson, down to Cotleo. Blocked off the line, and now Thompson again. Tordoff picks it up to Thompson. Lovely switch to Petrucci. To the byline, back to Council. The wonder kid shoots, but it's straight at the defender. Didn't leave the floor as a poor effort. And Obafemi is on the counter. Great defending from Tordoff, though. Really did well to get back. And it's still 0-0 here at Crawley Stadium. It's Dorking Wanderers 0, Crystal Palace 0. 20 minutes to go. Zach Council again having a pretty poor game. That's 2 in a row now. I've got to be concerned. And inside forward on support, Tordoff will switch to the old position. Bentley will come on in midfield. Porteous drops as a deep line playmaker. Bentley goes in as a centre midfielder on support. And we'll leave the other change 5 more minutes. But Cotleo's having a poor game. So it's going to be Brendan Lindsay. And he's got a chance to get his first goal of the season and get his heroics back on track. 15 to go. Here comes last season's top scorer. Can he finally do something special for us? There's a throw on the left. Jack Walker, for some reason's taking it. Throws it into the left back Thomas. And here's Walker again to Porteous. Don't lose it there. We haven't got protection. He doesn't. He finds Tordoff with a switch of play. He switches it again and Luke Thomas is there. 3 in the box if he can get this in. He does. Tordoff at the back post. Headed away by Davis and he's not really away yet. Diallo eventually hacks clear, but it only finds Jack Walker again. Another player who's really improving as Luke Thomas almost loses it there. But the skipper's coming down the left and the captain's armband seems to have affected his average rating. But Porteous to Burns. Oh, lovely effort. Caught me off guard there with a turn. It's just over onto the roof of the net. And with 10 to go, it doesn't look like it's going to be our day. Thomas has picked up a booking, so we'll ease him off the tackles. But I'm not going to go off the front foot just yet. though nearly 4 minutes of stoppage time gone, and it is a 0-0 draw. We've had by far the better chances, but just didn't have that killer instinct. Brendan Lindsay didn't look sharp off the bench. We barely got to see any action at all. And George Burns, of course, likely to be replaced by McLaughlin soon. The international break's going to be crucial for fitness. So if everyone gets through that and we can get our first 11 back and fit, I think we'll be alright come December. But I think we have to accept this is going to be a more difficult month. Lindsay's goal drought, how long's that now? 10 matches without a goal. Admittedly, a lot of those this year off the bench. 4 off the bench and 5 starts this year, yet to contribute a goal or assist. And not just that, his ratings are awful. So do you know what? After the break, we'll go and slate him for it, because it's generally worked last season. We slate a player for a goal drought, they then go and score. Let's hope Brendan Lindsay does the same. But otherwise, let's be honest, there's not a great deal to complain about, is there? I'm trying to be more relaxed, and I think it's showing the last couple of seasons that I'm quite happy in both saves. We've generally calmed down, we're much more relaxed, and we're happy that we're going in the right direction. I'm starting to feel that Torquay vibe from Dorking, where I'm really falling in love with them. Like I was the first couple of seasons when we had Jason Pryor, was it Richards over on the left wing, and then obviously the likes of Whittaker and Presley came in. So there's plenty of signs for optimism. If we go and have a look at the schedule, we've got a massive game to come back for. So mid to late December, we will be back for the Carabao Cup quarter-final. 2 games before Christmas, we head to Arsenal, the Emirates Stadium, hopefully some much needed income. Unfortunately, Mitchell Baker suspended after reaching a number of yellow cards. I don't know if it's a glitch in game, but he got 2 yellow cards in the Carabao Cup. He got suspended for a game and it said it would be the Carabao Cup tie, but then he was suspended for the next league game as well. So I'm not sure why we're losing them for 2 games, but it's not a disaster. We've been playing our backups anyway, and we probably will do even at the Emirates. But it's a really good moment for us. We obviously had our first big FA Cup run last season, and we're matching that this year in the Carabao Cup. A quarter-final in each competition, and even if we don't quite get to the top as we did with Torquay, I would love it if we could win a domestic cup during this save. It's certainly not going to happen this year, but let's get the sense of the big occasion and get these lads prepared for it in the future. So that'll be the next episode. Hopefully by then we'll have a first promising youth intake preview. We might even have our facilities upgrade completed, and we should be moving forward yet again off the pitch. On it, we just want to stay in a decent position. If we can keep ourselves in that playoff hunt, then great. If not, we just want to make sure we're secure. So it's quite a tight league at the moment, but we are nearly 20 points clear of the relegation zone. We've got to get to 50, and we're over halfway with a third of the season gone. So no complaints so far. Fingers crossed we'll get a favourable third round FA Cup draw. We'll have a look at that when we come back for the next one as well. And some of these players will continue to surprise us. The likes of Thompson and Cotleo, 2 very much backup players, and they've been the stars in the 2 competitions so far. It'll be our last calm episode before the January transfer window, of course. Then we'll start to get all the big offers for some of our superstars. 1 or 2 of them wanted already. Petrucci, the right back, wanted on loan. Not sure why. And of course we've got the likes of Luke Thomas, where we're still deliberating about their future. But if you did enjoy this episode, another strong performance against reputable opposition, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate your continued support, and again thank you to everyone who came along to the live stream yesterday morning. The full replay's in the eye above. Come and join in, let me know in the comments what you think. Our director of football doing all the work in that one, of course, and they're great opportunities for me to interact with you guys. I'd love to do it more in the future. I'm thinking for next year maybe to even do a stream save, but we'll see where we go as we move along. But otherwise, let me know in the comments what you thought of our performance here. Think ahead to January. What should we be looking to do? Where should we be looking to improve? Should we give up on Brendan Lindsay, or do I give him till Christmas to recover? A number of unanswered questions, and I'm sure the Emirates will be the place we get found out if we don't solve them. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from both of my long-term stories. This one will be back in 2 days' time with that massive game against Arsenal on Friday. In the meantime, we'll have the start of Season 9 in the head coach. Those of you that saw the stream yesterday will have a head start on the transfers and the action off the pitch, but we'll be having our first game on it as well. We're expected to win promotion with Burnley. Are we going to be able to achieve it? Please do come and join me to find out, and let me know what you think of all the changes at the club. Finally, of course, my 2 new series do continue on Sunday this week. The FM20 network career, which is about at the halfway point. I've had 3 episodes so far, myself against a co-host. and we're at National League level, so come and check that one out if you haven't already. And please do try my stadium review series, Review the 92. Myself and a friend fill in the void of not being able to go to football by talking about all the grounds we've visited around the country. So come and let us know if you're a fan of those clubs, if you've been to those grounds as well as an away fan. What did you think? I really do appreciate your support with new content. Let me know if it's the sort of thing you'd like to see more of in the future. I'd like to branch out and do a few different things. I've got a few ideas in my head, and we'll talk about those a bit later in the year. But please do give it a try. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you next time in this one as we head to the Emirates to face the mighty Arsenal.